So everyone, welcome back a Little by Little. Today we've got Danny from the Shadow official page that runs the Instagram page. You're sitting at 22,000 followers at the minute, so it's meant to have you on and just talk a little bit about like where it started, like what your goals are for the page and stuff like that. So first of all, how are you doing? Obviously you're all fueled up, you've had your tea, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
What else have you been
Yeah,
doing?
mate. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing, mate. I've been working today. I work in IT. That's like my sort of day job. That's what I do. That's been good. But yeah, mate, it's been nice and busy. Had some tunes on the way home. I was listening to Fleetwood Mac on the way home. Actually,
Well,
they've got some
yeah,
bangers. Them.
they've got some mint tunes,
Yeah,
haven't
mate.
they?
They've got some bangers. It's
Dreams,
a joke.
unreal. Well, I'm like,
Just banger after banger.
definitely.
Dreams, mate. What a song. But yeah, mate, had some tunes on the way home. I had a nightmare today, Oh my
Why?
days. It was one of the most embarrassing things in my life. I get my shorts out from the boot and I've threw my keys and I've just shut the boot and me both lights flashed and I'm like, my car's locked.
Oh, you've
It's
locked
locked.
your car. Oh, no way, that's a nightmare.
Absolute nightmare. And then my mate had to take me work colleague, I can take me all the way home, which is like 20 minutes away. Get me spare key, drive back, unlock my car and drive home. Unreal.
Oh, what a taste. So I listened to one of your podcasts that you done this morning and it was really, really good. So I didn't want to make it
Oh, great.
repetitive for you. I just thought I'd pick some things up that like really I wanted to ask you and stuff like that, and listeners and stuff as well. So first of all, anyone listening, if you don't follow the Cast No Shadow official page on Instagram, get yourselves over. It's all content. Oasis, Liam, Noel. I can't even remember how long I followed the page for, Danny. To be honest, it feels like a lifetime. I follow quite a few pages and stuff like that that relate to music. So my first question for you is: was there a page that you followed back in the day that inspired you to make a page for yourself?
That's a good question. I it wasn't more Instagram. It was more forum based. I was part of like Live Forever forums, and I was part of a couple of other forums as well. And the Oasis Reddit was quite good as well.
Yeah.
I loved that. But yeah, just having friends really that are part of all different communities. People are into different things. People are into bootlegs. People are into live gigs. People are into rare stuff. People are into collecting. People are just there for the bangers. And yeah, mate, I think just forums for years really. It's weird. It's like I never ever thought I'd have like an online space or an online Oasis page. Like I was like, because I'm just a normal Scouse lad. I'm just, I've always loved Oasis. Even now
Yeah.
that my page is where it is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still just a fan. I'm one of yous, one of
Yeah.
them, one of us. Mate, it's been mad. So what happens is where it all come from
Yeah.
was in 2018. I went to see Liam in Berlin in the Columbian Hall
Mm-hmm.
with a friend from school, Jamie, and we flew over to Germany to watch Liam, and we got there to the gig and stuff like that. And I was expecting it to be amazing because Noel had been touring for a good few years, and Liam's not been doing anything. He weren't recording. He never had any albums out. He weren't touring. But Noel had he had 2 albums out. He'd been touring all over Europe, all over the world, and I'd obviously followed Noel doing that.
Yeah.
Been to dozens of Noel gigs really. So I was like quite. I remember thinking the night before, I'm quite eager to see Liam here. I love the pair of them.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask me on my page like, "Who do you love? Do you love
Oh,
Liam? Do you
I
love Noel
knew
more?"
it.
And I'm like,
Yeah. It's not
"Don't
even one
ask
of the
any question."
questions. Do you know what it is? Like most people, I would ask that question too, but someone that is so passionate about them, like I am, you can't answer the question.
Yeah, you've got Liam and Noel behind you, mate. But, like, they're both equally, yes, lads. They're both equally sick in their own ways.
Yeah.
Liam carries this unbelievable stage presence, and Liam speaks to a lot of young people as in just not to care what other people think. and to be confident in who you are. And Noel has this unbelievable songwriting talent, and also, you know, this soft arrogance about him. But together, that's what I love. I was at Liam's gig in 2018, and it kicked off, mate. Oh my word! I was like, I went in. I was expected, because it was small. It was like 3,500 people.
Was it?
And mate, it was literally like a dinner hall. Like, I was like, where's the scranner? Where's those chicken dinosaurs at? You know what I mean? Get me those little potato smiley faces. I'm up for it. You know, where's the alphabet spaghetti, lad? You know what I mean? Mate, that was do you know what? I'll tell you? This is dead interesting. This. I got to the gig early, and I've been to a lot of Noel gigs at the start as well, waiting outside with people, waiting with friends, people who you don't know, and after 20 minutes, you know, like, way, and after all, you know, and singing all the tunes outside. Liam's, it's so funny how both of the brothers attract different people.
Yeah.
Like, Noel's gigs are so much more reserved and very anthemy and very sway.
Yeah.
You know, Liam's is, you go in, you come out, where's me t-shirt? You know,
why have I got glass
where's
in
me mate? I'm sure I went in there and my nose was just straight. Why is it over there? You know, what's it doing? But you know, Liam's gigs are a lot more rowdy, and it's not because, you know, Noel's gigs would be exactly the same if he played Rock and Roll Star or, you know, Morning Glory the way Liam does, proper stone cold bangers. But I knew from the get-go Liam's gig was just completely different. So we got in, and I got right to the front, and I was front and center. And literally from me to about 3 meters in front of me was Liam. And he come on, and it was the most mental gig I've ever been to, I think. I was, my ribs were sore for about a week and a half because I was on the bar.
Yeah.
And I was getting elbowed. Oh, mate, yeah. But that gig set that I come out of that gig, Lily, is, for me, I realised how much stage presence Liam carries as an artist.
Yeah.
How powerful his voice is, as well. And I come out of that gig and got back to the hotel with my mate, and I was like, I just felt like, obviously I felt this since I was very young, but this urge to share me pictures from the gig and this love for Oasis, and that's what made me start the page. I was like, I'm just gonna start a page, and I was like sitting there on the 5th of March 2018, and I was like, what should I call it? And I was like, because Don't Look Back in Anger is my favorite ever song, but I was like, what's catchy? You know, Little by Little, Champagne Supernova. You know, what can I do? And then, I don't know, Cast No Shadow is like one of my favorite ever songs.
Yeah.
And that just sort of set, and I just went with it. And within a week, I had 1,000 followers.
Mad.
Because some of the footage I got of Liam was literally like front and center.
Yeah.
And that gig was hilarious. Basically, do you know your phone?
Yeah.
I was like filming myself. I'll send you some later. Actually, it's hilarious. I was filming myself and with my mates and stuff like that, and it was great. But I just had this mad idea to like, do you know Liam's song "Come Back to Me" on his first album?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a banger. It's a bit of a banger. Let's all be honest here. And I put like my camera in selfie mode, and then turned it towards Liam while there's a guitar solo, and I was like, Liam, look, like that. And he was like, just looking cool on the stage. And then,
like, right at you.
Yeah, he was just looking cool on the stage, like looking around. And I was like that with my camera, Liam, like that. And he spotted it, and he walked up to my camera and shook his maracas in my camera, and I went nuts.
Have you published that, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think I've
it's on my
seen. I
page.
think I've seen it.
And then I turn this camera around and go nuts.
I would just die. Oh God, that's
It was nuts.
mental.
So that's where it all started, mate. That Liam's gig in Berlin set the tone for me.
Yeah.
As a fan, like I've been a fan for years, but obviously there's only so to connect with other people has been unbelievable, like yourself and other people and hundreds of people that I speak to and I've spoken to. Just been amazing.
Oh, that's proper an emotional story as well. Like when you've been brought up with like loving the music and stuff, and then being able, like you said, like I can totally picture the moment where you were there and you were right at the front, and then you just kind of like let it all out, because it was the same with me when I seen Noel. It wasn't until 2019 was the first time was Liam, first time I'd seen Liam. I couldn't get to his 2018 gig because I was at work and I didn't get a ticket. Someone on Twitter was like, I've got a ticket if you want to buy it, and I was gonna go on my own. It got to a point where I was like, fuck it, like I just want to go, and I couldn't get an early finish from work. Yeah, I was like crying at work, like I couldn't leave. I was just like proper devastated. And then in 2019 I seen him, and it was just, even though I was so far back, I was seating, but I was standing up anyway. It just, being able to let it out, and it was just such an emotional experience, and like and just being there, it was just mint. So I can totally picture where you're coming from, but obviously when you get to see Liam with him touring and stuff recently, it totally sets the tone, because I seen Noel in Tea in the Park, I think it was 2015 I think.
Some gig that
it was mint.
He walks off it was televised on BBC, and he walks off afterwards and the crowd is still singing Don't Look Back in Anger. Can you remember that?
Yeah, because
it's unbelievable. Like he walks off and he starts interviewing on BBC, and it's quite an interesting one, because if I think back, Noel's speaking to the woman about sort of like how the Oasis songs themselves have just become a thing of their own. They take care of themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, he talks about like, If I Had a Gun, he played, and Dream On was good. But like, Don't Look Back in Anger, Don't Look Back in Anger and Champagne Supernova, and Little by Little, they've all come into their own. They don't need any hype or anything. You just do them, and then they take care of themselves, because they've stuck to generations, you see.
Yeah, the songs that obviously it does pass on, and I think they're the ones that I kind of got into. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was younger, my mum played the music and stuff. She went to a gig in 1995 in Ice Rink where we live. She paid £12.50 for the ticket. I was like, you jammy bitch.
No way.
And then from there, she always listened to them, and then obviously I've grown up listening to that type of music, like the Stone Roses and stuff like that as well. That all of that stuff's really drilled into me. So,
Brilliant.
It's just totally mint. And when you start to know them and you listen to the albums and stuff, I'm still massively uneducated when it comes to the band. Everyone who knows me knows I love Oasis, but there's still loads of stuff that I don't know, and that's why speaking to people like you is like really good for me, because I want to be able to speak to people and get experiences and stuff like that. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, mate. Yes, awesome, mate.
No, that's mint. So I've got down, because I remember you mentioning on the last podcast that it was March. So happy 3 years to you. Page next month.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll have balloons and everything. I've got down as well that you had the 20k giveaway. You're on nearly 23,000 now, and that was only 2 months ago. So you can see that it's still increasing loads, man.
It's just, Lily, it doesn't feel real. It's just like, and you know what? I don't do anything out of the ordinary to what I normally do. Like the 20k giveaway was partnering with people to basically reward and to basically say thank you, like, because it's just being insane. Like I did mention on the previous podcast, 20 years worth of dreams have happened in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like the things that have happened and the experiences and the people I've met and the memories that I've made and the gigs that I've been to. Mate, there's not a day goes by when I'm not thankful for all of that. I think about it all the time, and I'm like, it just if you put yourself out there, stuff happens, mate.
Yeah.
And if you're ambitious, it's scary. I've been scared a lot of doing the things I have, but I'm so thankful that I was able to push outside my comfort zone and go for it. I'm a really shy person in general, but this has taught me to just, if you've got those dreams, man, buried, like don't have them buried, man. Have them with flowers growing out of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Instead of
man,
just
like
being soil.
share them. Yeah, definitely share
Yeah.
them with people, and you've probably changed quite a lot of people's lives, like having something to follow and keeping the memory alive. I know there's a lot of pages out there, but in terms of you deliver yourself, you talk about your own stories on the page, so people can relate.
It's more of a
do you know what I
personal
mean?
feel. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more of a personal feel, and I think don't get me wrong, there is a lot. I am friends with almost all of the Oasis pages out there. They are incredible. Like I love a lot of what they do. Louise at latest Oasis News, she is so tireless at putting out anniversaries of songs, events, album releases. She's incredible. Fabio at Oasis Fans Club, he's brilliant. He's got like his own little thing going on over there. And we're all part of the same thing, man. It's boss. But the way my page evolved and I didn't want it to just be like a generic page, like, oh, there's a picture of Liam looking sick as on stage. That's boss. That's still boss. I'm not taking anything away from that. But like Oasis is so much more than that. And people's stories are so much more than that. And I'm very aware that Oasis were around when the internet wasn't a thing. So having a platform where you can share buried stories and stories that will never get heard. Mate, Main Road anniversary is coming up in April again. And last year I put up like it's like, so like 25 years since Main Road.
Yeah.
Tell me your stories and stuff like that. And mate, I got so many boss stories of people on the day that like were there with the mates or got tickets, and I was able to share them on my page and on my story and stuff like that. And people were like, "Oh, thank you so much. I thought I'd never get the opportunity to share something like that."
Oh.
And that's why I have at the top of my page the People's Oasis page, because as much as I own the page and own Castnoshadowofficial and run it and put a lot of hours into it, I feel like everyone's part of it. I don't feel like I'm speaking to people. I don't feel like I'm putting a status up for you. I feel like I'm putting a status up for us, so we can enjoy it together.
Yeah. Well, that's what you said at the start. Like, it started when I've just spoke to you before. When it first started, you were talking about, you didn't say me, you said us, and I didn't know if you'd realised, but it's just so nice that someone, there's so much credit to you, Danny. Like, you've done an amazing job, and you should be really, really proud. I'm sure that you are, and I'm sure a lot of people are as well. But for you to talk about it as a community rather than something that's just your own is like, it's massive. And I think that's what makes you different to every other page out there, because like people can contact you, tell you stuff, you can share it, and with it having such a massive platform as well, it really, really makes a difference.
Oh, thank you very much, mate. It's just a dream come true, really. Like a dream that I never thought I'd have as a dream and it's just happened. So I'm just enjoying it, mate. Like, ride it till the wheels comes off, as Noel says.
No, that's just take the bull by the horns and just do what you've got to do. It's grown really, really well, and it has from day one. Like you said, it's 3 years coming up now, and you're doing really, really well for it. So well done. I've got
Thank you, Lily.
Your next question here. Can you remember which album you listened to first?
Absolutely. When I was 11, I was absolutely bored to the hills of music that I was listening to and involved in. I think I had. Please don't shoot me down for this. I think I had in my Walkman player. You know, do you remember Eminem? Well,
Yeah.
obviously everyone knows Eminem. Do you remember the band he had, D12?
Oh.
Do you remember D12?
Yeah,
I had their
vaguely.
album in my, they were absolutely horrendous. And I think I just don't know. I was so troubled with music, but I I loved music in general and
Yeah.
was passionate about it.
Hmm.
And my dad had this white wardrobe in his room,
Hmm.
and it was caked in CDs, the whole wall. It's like a removable wardrobe, and he just had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of CDs. And I said to him, Dad, I'm so bored of the music that I'm listening to. Can I have 2 albums
Hmm.
or something like that? Can I have something? And he went, yeah, man, no worries. Let me have a little look. So he come back into my room a couple of minutes later, and he had The Delicate Sound of Thunder, which is by Pink Floyd. It's a
Yeah.
live album.
Uh-huh.
Still an incredible album. Love it. Really iconic album. And What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Obviously.
Guess which one I picked?
Imagine how different your life would be if you chose the other one.
Imagine, mate, just going around with David Gilmour posters. Follow me page, lad. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nah, mate, unbelievable. And Oasis then, because I'm just a working class lad from Liverpool, nothing special. Oasis's music spoke to me immediately as a lad who's coming into sort of, into high school, growing up, finding himself. The music itself just spoke to me so much, and I am so thankful for that. Don't Look Back in Anger took on a thing of its own, separately from What's the Story, Morning Glory. Almost became like a colour in my life, that song. It got me through every season in my life, every season. And yet, mate, I become just so indulged in the music. I just loved how Oasis, even when I was younger and I didn't know much about people and characteristics and the way people can be, and it's when you're young, it's easy to tar everyone with the same brush.
Yeah.
Everyone's just in the music industry, especially when it's pop music. Oasis were always different. They always carried that DNA of being different, and its sound to be different. And yeah, mate, found them when I was 11, and they started to tour. They done the Dig Out Your Soul tour in 2008.
Yeah.
And they were playing in Liverpool, and I tried to get tickets so hard to see them in the Echo. Couldn't.
Oh.
And then 2009 came along, and I was 16 on the 14th of June, and my mum and dad turned round and said, "You go and see Oasis with your dad on the 12th of June." And I was like, oh my days. Can we stop by Tesco and get some turkey dinosaurs on the way? Yeah, sort me out, Dad. 30 in 2 days.
Oh, that's
Brilliant. Amazing. But yeah, mate, unbelievable. That was 11 years ago. And I literally, and I'm not joking, remember that evening, the night before we went, and the day like it was yesterday. I got up, me and my dad jumped in the car, we packed clothes and scran, and we had all the Oasis CDs. I remember I had my bag on my back, and I was walking down the stairs with all the CDs. My dad's car had the CD player.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And I got into the car, the sun was booming, and we played all the albums, because we were driving down to Cardiff from Liverpool, and it's a trek in it. Yeah. So yeah, man, we played definitely Maybe, then What's the Story, Morning Glory, and everything that followed, mate. Like, it was so sick. Me and my dad listened to all the albums on the way down, window down, just a proper father and son time.
Moment, yeah.
Oh, mate. And I remember, because I love football as well, and I had a season ticket when I was younger at Everton, and I've been to stadiums before, like football stadiums, but mate, Cardiff Millennium Stadium for a gig is something else. It's now called the Principality Stadium, and I remember walking up the stairs and coming out, and Kasabian were playing because we got there late because of traffic. And they were playing, do you know that tune Fire?
Yeah.
It's I'm on fire, that one.
Yeah.
And there was literally fire on the stage. I was like, yes, I am happy I'm here.
Yeah.
And it was just insane. It was absolutely insane. And afterwards, like, obviously we had the gig and it was incredible. And I think I stopped crying for about 3 minutes in the whole gig. You know, because I think I ran out of tears. It was literally like that. If I think back to 2009 to see Oasis, and then Oasis split up, and then seeing Noel in 2011, 2012, those sort of, that Oasis gig and those couple of gigs afterwards, I literally just sobbed all the way through. There's a there's a gig that I went to see Noel in 2012 in my hometown in Liverpool, and there's a picture of me and my mates turn round, and he's filming the whole thing, God bless him, on an iPod. I look like a Minecraft character, just blocks, mate. It's hilarious. But I was just ruined, mate. I was so emotional.
Did your tears look like cubes?
little cubes. Yeah. Oh, mate. I was. Those couple of gigs. Those first 5 or 6 gigs, mate. I just couldn't stop crying because it was like, oh my days, like this overload of passion, like unleashing it at like gigs for the first time.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, that's mint. That's proper mint. And like, you are so young as well. Like, for you to experience that, I'm so jealous. I never have. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. Mate, it's early days. I'm still 3 years off 30, mate. You know, still years and years of this, mate. So.
Yeah, I know that you'd mentioned as well that you'd done 4 gigs in 5 days. So I was like, what? How did you function? Like, I mean, emotionally, how did you actually feel, like, going from gig to gig constantly, and just like, how did you deal with it?
That's a really good question, actually. Emotionally, how did I deal? Like, because obviously gigs are emotional. You feel everything in gigs.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Lily? Me and me mate Sam went to Manchester on the Wednesday, had that gig, and it was honestly incredible. We were at the front on the row, and front row, and I had me hands over the barrier, and I was like watching Liam here, and he threw his tambourine into the crowd like a couple of songs in, and I was just like, I want that to happen. I was like, I really, really need that to happen. Like, that needs to happen in my life. And it was weird because like the crowd just like sort of like all went in on itself. Like, I was watching, I was like, that's incredible. Like, get me over there. I want to get involved.
I might not come out alive, but it'll be worth it. Yeah, I can take the tambourine.
And the day after, mate, well, we got up the next day, and I was just like, I remember putting a picture on Instagram. I was so tired because gigs are tiring, man. Like, it's very physical. God, you know, stopping people from like pushing you all the time and like keeping upright and just jumping up and down for like an hour and a half, just going nuts. Mate, you should have heard me on Sunday when I got out. I sound like Wheezy off Toy Story 2. Honestly, just felt like I've been left on the shelf for about 9 years and forgotten about, and I've inhaled about 4 gallons of dust. But love a Toy Story reference. But yeah, mate, the day afterwards, I was like, got to the gig with my uncle because my friend had to go back home, So I took him, and he was buzzing. And yeah, mate, I was like, I told the friends that I was like, I want Liam's tambourine, because they were like, oh, you're getting to the front, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna stand like 5, 6 rows back here, and I'm gonna somehow inhale Liam's tambourine with my hand, like Michael Jordan of Space Jam. And he's like, and that, mate, honestly, to cut a long, mad, incredible story short, he threw the tambourine in, and it bounced off someone's bowl head right into my hand.
Oh, nah.
And I fell back. Because the crowd's weird, man, in a Liam's gig. It's just pushing and shoving and back and goes in waves. I catch the tambourine, fall back, and about 4 people jump on me. And some lad starts punching me.
Oh,
punching me here. And I'm just like, can you not, like, bad.
Like you've just caught a bouquet of flowers at a wedding.
Yeah, I was like, lad, do you mind? I've got turkey dinner. Do you know what I mean? Just punching me head in. But like, I caught it with the handle, and where the symbols are, like 4 people had hold of it.
Oh.
And one lad just let go. I was like, good boy, nice one.
Nice one.
Like, nice one. Enjoy Liam. Keep your eyes on the prize. And the other 3 were like, the 2 in the middle fighting with each other, like, get off! And you get off! And I was just like, what is this? It's like Jeremy Kyle's show in the middle of a Liam gig here. It's absolutely kicking off. And then this lad over here who was punching me, like, there was some other lad shoved him off and went, like, let go of him. You caught it. Let go. And then I just went dead low. And then, like, 2 minutes later, everyone let go. And then I shoved it under me shirt and just cried. And this feeling that I had of just pure euphoria and excitement, and oh my days, man, it was like, how long ago was that? It's like a year and a bit ago. I still can't believe it's real. Like, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. And the next song afterwards, a couple of songs later, he played Acquiesce.
Yeah.
And the guitar do 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 do, like that at the start. Liam's shaking his tambourine, and I pull it out from underneath my shirt and shake it at him. And by this point, I'm like 2 rows from the front now, because I don't know what happened, but I like levitated to the front. I have been gifted the tambourine of Gallagher. Move out of my way.
Move, peasant.
And I like sort of. I was like, get out of the way, otherwise you get a turkey dinosaur around your chops in a minute. But I was like, it was weird. I just sort of like found myself near the front, and that guitar intro was going on, and I shook my tambourine at Liam, and he got his like that, and he got his finger, and he went, shake it, lad, and I lost it.
What, you lost the
down the mic as well?
Oh, I thought you meant like you lost the tambourine. Nah.
He like looked at me and said down the mic, shake it, lad, go on.
Yeah.
And and we both shook our tambourines together.
I would have died, I think.
You can't top that, can you? Like, that was insane. And the rest of that gig, it was weird. It felt like Lord of the Rings, lad. It felt like Mordor or something, because I was like shaking this, and like the whole crowd around me were like, yes! It was weird, like Mexican way. It was like, if the crowd's like fall below like a certain decibel, I'm like, guys, it's Liam, like shake it, like that. And everyone's like, yes! But mate,
what a balance.
That is so special to me as well, because like it was in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
It was in my hometown, so being to dozens and dozens and dozens of gigs, and for it to happen in my hometown, it was hilarious though, because my uncle, I was like, he was with me, he had a pint in his hand, and he's hilarious. He was like, I was going mad up and down for Rock and Roll Star at the start, and he was with me, but he was like sort of like casually, hopping, like, but he had a pint in his hand, like just sipping it, just like, I don't know what it is. It's great, isn't it? And Morning Glory comes on, and he just goes missing, and I'm like, where has he gone?
He's crowd surfing somewhere
Where
at the
have you gone? I know, with his pint like upright, you know what I mean? And he comes back like 2 songs after I've caught Liam's tambourine, and I'm like, and at this point I'm not like calm or anything.
Yeah.
He like comes back and he's like, Dan, how you doing? And I'm like, lad, you're not gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe it. And he was like, what's happened, lad? What's happened? Someone stole your phone. I'll do him in. And he was like, no. I was like, no, I've caught it. He was like, lad, no, lad, no. I was like, mate, look. It was the whole experience was unbelievable. Doesn't feel real.
Mm-hmm.
I FaceTime my mum outside, and she was like, "How was it, love? How was it? Do you have a nice time?" And I was like, "Mum, look." She's like, "Oh, where did you get that? The shop?" And I was like,
the gift shop.
The gift shop. Liam Gallagher gift shop. Yeah, threw it at me.
God, that's mint. Oh, like for you saying I want to get it, and then like your hometown as well. I think it makes it more special, doesn't it? And knowing that you can just be like, that happened there. That it's proper close to home. It's lush.
Oh, mate, unreal. And then the day afterwards, I had a day off, flew to Dublin, and then Saturday and Sunday were both Dublin gigs, and that was incredible as well. And then Monday morning, I was back at work at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Fucking hell. I don't know how we managed that.
Sitting at the desk, and they were like, sitting at the desk, Danny, you're right, have a nice weekend. Yeah, it was great. It's absolutely fantastic, thanks. It's
like
one of the most
incredible. Comprehend what's happened.
Yeah, it was just mental. But 4 gigs in 5 days, I'd do it again.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been or considered going to a gig on your own?
Yeah, probably been to about 20, 25 on my own.
Have you? Well, obviously you've met people there as well. Have you? Like that you've made friends and stuff. Obviously when you're outside and that, but
it's so weird, like when I caught that tambourine, every gig I went to after that, because Liam put it on a story. Like I'd just be in the queue waiting, and everyone would be like, "Oh my days, it's so and so," and I just people are just and all the gigs that I've been to, even before that, I had my page. It still had like a lot of followers.
Yeah.
I was just like, people had always recognised, or they'd see on my story that I'm in Hull or something, or because I've seen Noel in Hull, and I was at MTV Unplugged, Liam's gig in Hull, and like people would be like, are you going there tonight? And I just meet up with people, and it's boss, mate. It's just a big family.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's meant like just being like, because like you said earlier on, you're quite you were a quite shy person, but like now you're comfortable enough to go out. But it's music, like music transforms people, I think.
It does, and yeah, putting yourself out there, and I think a lot of people find themselves in music. They find out who they are.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I think you can totally connect and like It I think it changes the way that you think and stuff as well. When I first started listening to music, and when I was starting to go out, I was old enough to go clubbing and stuff. I was like, I didn't really want to be here because I'm not about that. I'd rather go and sit in a pub and just put music on, like on the jukebox or something, than go out and clubbing. Like I've never been like that, and I think it used to always not piss me friends off, but I would go out and I'd be like, DJ, will you put this on? And he'd be like, no, man. And I'd have to ask him like loads and loads and loads. And only recently my friends have started to like listen more. One of my mates, Katie, she was like, oh, I've been listening to this song more and I know the lyrics and that. And I'm like, get in. Like it's meant being able to influence people and stuff. But I think at first I was quite, I wasn't embarrassed, but I was, when people asked us like who I listen to most, like what type of music, I'm like, it's just them. Like I love them to death. I
Yeah.
listen to them all day, every day, if I possibly can. Like, I don't listen to new things anymore. I don't listen to pop, hip hop rubbish. Like, don't get us wrong,
Do you like
songs are alright, but
yeah, absolutely. But do you ever listen to like Oasis bootlegs or live gigs of theirs?
I've watched a few live gigs, but I haven't actually done all of them yet. So I watched the Nebworth one, Main Road as well, and then the Earl's Court a couple of weeks ago. Me and my mum were having a drink, and she'd put one on that she'd been to, and it was like some bloke videoing it, and it must have been like a Motorola or something. The quality was horrendous. But he must have been the only person in the crowd that actually had a mobile phone. And she was like, I was there. And it just like, it makes it
Wow.
proper exciting. Like,
It does, mate. It does. Like old footage of gigs, like is incredible. There's quite a few. Ones I'd advise to watch. There is Oasis playing in the Wetlands in New York in 1994. Very, very early gig.
mm-hmm.
But it's mad. Someone's got like some mad boss camera there. Must be about this big because it's mad. It's a really, really good quality shot.
Yeah.
But the audio is soundboard, so it's absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch that.
What was it? I'm going to write this down. New York.
New York Wetlands, 1994. Liam's absolutely unbelievable. Then watch Oasis at Astoria as well. That is amazing. These are like sort of early gigs, which are incredible.
Yeah.
What else? Do you prefer the early era, or do you prefer like sort of like the last couple of years, or like around 2000? What are you after?
I would probably say around the 2000 mark. I'm
Have
not.
you seen
I'm not
Barrowlands?
picky. Nah, I haven't yet. I don't know why, because like I'll sit here and just watch crap on the telly all the time. I don't know why I haven't. I'm gonna write these down as well. This is what I mean about being.
What
so,
are you
like,
doing after this? You need to go and watch Barrowlands with your mum. You need to watch that gig. It is. Oh my days, man! It was in 2001. Honestly, it's a joke because they didn't have an album out. So at the time, they weren't like promoting an album.
Yeah.
So it was like Oasis almost were able to play like their best tunes, or they were quite experimental with the set list.
Mm-hmm.
But the Barrowlands gig in Scotland, it's an old ballroom, the Barrowlands.
Right.
It's dead low roof.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few moments which makes me tear up at the Barrowlands. Noel plays Whatever on his own with an electric guitar. I'm free to be whatever and yeah. And at the end, you know, the outro that he does, whatever you do, whatever you say, yeah, I know it's all right.
Yeah.
So he does that at the end. And then he goes, I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus. Yeah, the Beatles tune.
Yeah.
And he like comes out of the guitar and lets the crowd, and Noel's like doing that to the crowd, mate. It's so sick. So sick.
And that's on the Barrowlands one.
On the Barrowlands, yeah, you'll love that. That is really, really good. I really like 1998 was sort of when they went to like Japan and Asia.
Mm-hmm. Was that am I wrong in saying that's when Talk Tonight was?
Yeah. Noel like introduced like a set list throughout the halfway through the set, if you like, of where he'd play like Talk Tonight, Half the World Away, Morning Glory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's boss.
Didn't he leave Japan? Was it Japan where he left? Because I've seen that on the Supersonic documentary. When I think that was when he first started with some wife that he'd left Japan for. Was that when they had
San Francisco? Yeah, to go and see her. It's in the Supersonic movie. It's quite a famous story. Yeah, and he wrote those 3 songs while he was away.
Mm-hmm. I thought so.
I'm glad it. Obviously, I don't want anyone to like be upset or anything, but like, we wouldn't have had those songs if he didn't sort of run away for a bit.
Nah,
because even Noel, not even Noel doesn't know what he was thinking back then. he was like trying to escape or trying to get away from something, and they only found him by the number that he called off his phone bill.
Yeah.
Because obviously no internet back then or anything like that. He just got like some money off the woman who was involved with the band, and just got a flight to San Francisco and would see this woman who he had the thing with.
Mm-hmm.
That was it, and wrote those 3 songs. Incredible.
Mad. Absolute genius he is.
He is, mate.
In again referencing to the last podcast and as well, so sorry if I'm a bit repetitive, but you mentioned that Wonderwall isn't even in your top 20, you would say. Is that because it's so generic? I mean, there's been like loads of debates where like people have said it's overplayed and stuff, and I've been through stages where like if I was to say I like Oasis, someone would say Wonderwall. No, like there's more than that to them, and everyone knows that who loves them. But every now and again, if I put it on, I'm like, it's a proper good tune.
It is. The studio version of Wonderwall is great, but Noel's acoustic version in sort of the early 2000s when he done a different rendition. I think he started doing Ryan Adams's rendition live, and a tad little different. That's a tune. In regards to it being overplayed, probably, I think that had an effect on it. But for me, mate, even when I was younger, like even when I think back to like my favorite Oasis songs, it never really come close. Like there was so many songs. I mean, Wonderwall's great; it's an anthem. You always sing it with your friends. But I think when you get over the whole surface fan level of Oasis, the 2 divvies from Manchester who are arrogant and they've got 2 songs that are famous. When you get over that to, they've got it. When you actually give Oasis the time of day, we live in a world where a lot of people, people are impatient and people are, they don't give things the time of day, and it has to be instant and it has to be catchy. That's why there's only catchy songs in the charts. People are like, oh, it's catchy. It doesn't mean they're good songs or they're good artists. Most of them are crap. They have, it's just like, oh, it's a little bit catchy, and they've paid like 7 people to write 1 song, and it's got one catchy bit in it, and it's just like, oh man, I've got no time for any of that. But I think, like you now, you're a perfect example. You don't know much about Oasis, but you're over the cusp of, I get it. You get it.
Yeah.
You see past Wonderwall. You see past the generic things that people label Oasis as. So you're into the master plan and all the B-sides on there, given songs that are never ever released a chance. I can put 10 B-sides before Wonderwall, not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem, because Lock the Box, which I spoke about previously in the other podcast, Lock the Box was like a documentary that Oasis done in 2006. It was around like sort of the Stop the Clock sort of era, and the Lord Don't Slow Me Down, that type of. Noel and Liam done like a series of songs talking about like all Oasis's greatest hits, like Songbird, The Master Plan, Acquiesce, Don't Look Back in Anger, Wonderwall, Live Forever. And they were talking about the songs, and they were talking about like B-sides and stuff like that. And Alan McGee went up to Noel, talks about this very, it was in the Master Plan bit, like not the album Master Plan, the actual song itself. And Alan was like, these songs are too good. And Noel was like, well, I don't write crap songs. I don't write crap songs. And And he's right, mate. Noel doesn't write. Obviously, the songs that I'm not keen on, very, very small amounts, which I'm like it's all right, but sometimes it's a filler or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, man, when an Oasis song comes on, whenever it may be, I'm like, yeah, is right.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Wonderwall not being in my top 20, I think is because it's kind of labeled and it is very overplayed.
It is
very, very overplayed. So I think that is a big factor. But when you're an Oasis fan for years and years and years, you see the amount of songs that come before Wonderwall and are lyrically better and melodically better as well. And when you grasp the big picture of who Oasis are, you realise Wonderwall is even just a drop in a very, very, very big pond.
Yeah, I love that.
Bangers!
It is. You've hit the nail on the head there, like, and I think there's quite a lot of people agree with it, to be honest. It is a good song, but I think with it being massively overplayed plays a massive part in why it's pushed to the side quite a lot of the time. But I have got my favourite songs, and I'm going to be honest as well, they do chop and change depending on what album I'm listening to at the minute, or what mood I'm in, or what time of like what part of my life I'm going through. Like there'll always be songs there that you can reference to a certain time in your life, and if you go through stages and stuff, you can always go back to them. But my favourites do change quite often. But believe it or not, my favourite song's Songbird, and I don't know why it is. It's just, I think it reminds me of me because it's just such a nice happy tune, and it's a short song. I'm a short person. No. I just love it, and but yeah, my favourite songs do change all the time. I mean, do yours, or do you have like a top 3 that stick there all the time?